All right, so I've never worked with gouache before, but I am excited to give it a try. So this is from Chalkola. I want to say Chalkola. I'm not sure that's which one's correct there. And 36 colors. Look, you get a little sponge and a palette mixing plate. That's nice. Ooh, and a little palette knife. That's cool. And even a set of brushes. Wow, I wasn't expecting all that. And then, let's see, it looks like this part is upside down, but we have a swatch set. So I'm definitely going to do that first so I can see what everything looks like. And then here are all the colors. And it looks like we get 2 whites, and then you have a couple of reds, several yellows, a bunch of different kind of yellows, 1 orange, a bunch of greens, and a bunch of blues. Wow, a whole bunch of different colors there. And that's not even it. Turn it around again. Oh, look, you get silver, bronze, sky blue, peach, ochre. Oh, wow, these are kind of like the off colors, I think. Pearl white, gold, rose gold, burnt sienna violet, 2 zinc whites, a Payne's gray, burnt umber, and a gold ochre. Wow. So we got lots of colors to play with here. And I think I'm going to do this first. I'm going to swatch it up first and see how things come out. All right, so to do the swatching, I decided to work from the paper and use each of the colors that I saw on the paper, find the tube, and then put the paint down. And I decided to go from right to left since I'm a lefty and I didn't want to end up getting my hand all over the paint. So I'm starting at the top right-hand corner and I'm going to work my way over and down. And then I also kind of decided that I wanted to try to put the paint on at full strength with no water, and then also try to add a second little piece in the bottom half of the block with just a little bit of water to kind of get an idea of what that color would look like, both, with no water and then with a little bit of water. So I'm just gonna go through each color, making sure I rinse off and dry off my paintbrush as well as I can in between each one to get a color swatch down on this paper. Okay, I finished up my color swatch, and the only things that I noticed about the color swatch sheet is that there were two peaches, and so I had to go through all of the colors and figure out which one was missing, and it was actually the turquoise blue. So this one wasn't on the color swatch sheet anywhere. So once everything's dry, I'll just cross out that peach and put on, you know, the turquoise blue, so I know which one that is. Everything else, you know, seemed to be working okay. The one color, the vermilion red, when I opened it up, it seemed like it was a little bit watery. So I don't know if it was separated in there. I was trying to kind of, you know, squish things around to get it mixed up. But you can see there's not much differentiation there, and that's because it was kind of watery when it came out. So, but the other ones seem to be, you know, pretty solid. So you can kind of see the differentiation in them, you know, from the solid just paint and then with a little bit of water. So that is our color swatch. And I love the colors. I think they look great. So I can't wait to try something with them. All right, I have my palette all washed up, and I have some watercolor paper taped down to my desk, and I decided to just pick out a couple of colors to use in a little project. So I'm choosing ochre and zinc white there, and then I have yellow ochre and lilac, and then I also just grabbed the vermilion red and the cerulean blue. I thought I would maybe mix the lilac and the cerulean blue together. And then I'm just picking out a couple of the paintbrushes from the kit to try them out with them as well. So I don't know if I'll use them all or, you know, maybe end up using other ones, but I'll start with these and see how we do. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to try to mix some colors to see how they would mix together. So I used the lilac and the vermilion red there, and I'm using a little bit of water to just kind of mix them up together to kind of come up with sort of I think it was kind of a wine color in the end there, but it mixed very well, and I liked that it was easy to mix and you could just add more color if you wanted to, you know, change the color a little bit. So excuse me, that worked out really well. And then I decided to wet my paper a little bit where I wanted the color to go to see how it would spread. And you can see it definitely spreads out like watercolor does, but it's much more opaque than regular watercolor would be. So I loved that part of it. And I'm just trying to keep all of the brushes from rolling around all over the place. And I'm just adding a few more spots of this mixed color that I have around on my paper there. And now I'm just mixing in some of the other colors that I had chosen. So the ochre and the yellow ochre there to sort of fill up the paper and remove some of the white space, just in no rhyme or reason, just kind of putting it around. And I love this kind of mixed media background and the way it looks. So I'm just putting a little bit of each of the colors in my palette and then using them to fill up the paper. All right, I dried the base out and then I decided I wanted to try something with the blue. And I was trying to do as many techniques as I could think of to see how the paint would react to either what I was doing or what was happening on, the canvas itself. So you can see here I'm tilting up my mat and seeing if I can get some drips going with this gouache. So I'm just adding, I had blue on my paintbrush, and I'm just adding more and more water until I can try to get some dribbles going down there. And I absolutely love the way that the dribbles seem to work and just go right over top of what I had underneath. So this part was really fun for me. I kind of wish I hadn't put my canvas down on that mat so I could have moved it around even more, but I really liked how that turned out. And then I'm going to dry this with my dryer again, and then I'll move on to the next step. All right, the next technique that I wanted to try was some mark making. So I might have used something different than a paintbrush in this step normally, but I wanted to stick with trying to use everything from the kit if I could. So I used one of the very small paintbrushes to just make some marks around. And I'm using the zinc white now on top of, these dark colors that I have down. And it's really, working much like acrylic wood. It's very opaque, and, the more paint I had on the brush, the more opaque it would, turn up on my canvas. So I really enjoyed this part too. I loved being able to see those white marks on top of the dark colors that I already had down on my canvas. After drawing those marks, I decided we needed to add a little bit of something to this painting here. So I just went in to make some very loose leaf shapes on here. I'm using an aquarelle. I think that's how you say that, pencil first here, just to kind of get some lines down. And then I'm using a Stabilo here, which after I kind of copy the lines that I had already done also very loosely, I'm going to wet those, and I wanted to see how the paints would react, to adding more wet on top of them. And as you can see, when I start putting the paint down, it really does nicely. It doesn't seem to smear a lot below, and you can see those nice black lines from what I had drawn before on there. All right, since I had already used up all the initial colors that I had pulled out, I went back into the box there and pulled out the gold ochre to add some color to the inside of those leaves. And now I didn't dry the Stabilo yet, so you may see that some of it is mixing in with the paint, which I don't mind. I mean, I knew it was wet, so I knew it might do that. But once again, the paint color that I picked out is very light, but it really is doing a nice job of going over everything that's underneath there. And now I just wanted to layer a little bit of paint on top of paint. So instead of fully mixing them, I just kind of wanted to add some accents to the leaf. So I picked up some of that zinc white and added it on top there, and it did a nice job of just kind of creating an accent on top of the leaves without, you know, totally blending everything together. All right, the next technique I wanted to try was some splattering with this gouache. So I grabbed the gold and added a bunch of water to it and just started flinging it on the canvas. And it really made some great drops on my canvas. So I love how that turned out. And since I couldn't really stop that, I went in and grabbed the pearl white color and made even more splashes on top of the picture there. I really liked the splattering. That was fun. All right, there you have it, friends. Here is the little design that I made, and I do just want to mention that I added a sealant on the top, which kind of gave it this matte finish, as well as I think dulled down the colors a little bit. So I didn't want you to think that that happens when it dries. I did kind of another design that was pretty much the same as this one, and I didn't put any finish on this one, so you can see those colors stay really vibrant and true if you don't put anything on top of it. So it could have also been what I put on top of it that, you know, made it do this. So but I mean, I still love this. I do like more muted colors anyway. So this was my finished product, and I really liked the way it turned out. I think for me starting to work on some new mixed media projects and things like that, I think this will be a really fun set to get me into that. So if you're interested in checking out this set, you can head to the description box, and I will put a link to this set down there, and you can check it out from there. Thank you so much, and I appreciate Chalkola sending me this set and having me do a review for them. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.